News Channel 5 on your side presents Kaleidoscope, focusing on people who make a difference in Northeast Ohio communities.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to have you with us. Informing Our Children Incorporated is a Cleveland-based organization located in the Glenville community. The organization assists families working through problems and helping identify solutions. Its founder, Doreen Dunn Burtz, is here to share more information with us. Then author Diane Bonner will be here to talk about her book of poetry and essays. And later on the broadcast after that, we'll hear from Cordell Stokes of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland and Glenn Shoemate of Construction Employers Association. They've got a great mission to tell us about as well. Good afternoon, I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. Beginning with Doreen Dunn Burtz, founder of Informing Our Children. Good to have you with us, Doreen.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Always good to see you.
I appreciate that.
Refresh our memory. Tell me about Informing Our Children. What does it do?
Informing Our Children's main purpose is to work with families in prevention and intervention services. We want to tie the community to realize and recognize our neighbors are important and that we need to help each other move, grow, and move forward. So example is, if I see children out of order, bring back the old school, correct them.
Yeah.
If I see a family, like we just had a case where a mom, McDonald's every day, she didn't know how to cook. So we had to actually help her learn. We can make meals, start small, teach her how to do more. Our goal is to help community heal by solving problems before they become real big problems.
Just a moment ago, you mentioned a phrase, we do things old school way.
Yes.
I think old school got to be old school because it was good.
It was good
And
school.
if it's no good, it won't get to be old school.
That's right.
So all of those strong foundations still work.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
For sure.
And where do you work? Do you work mostly in the Glenville neighborhood?
Well, no, usually we get a lot of calls from different areas. We realize the need is everywhere. So we also do that through our Life Obstacle Program.
You help people through all kinds of situations. You kind of, is it a clearinghouse where they call you with, this is my problem, and you kind of direct them to where they
We believe in problems and solutions. We believe every problem has a solution. And so from meeting in a group form to just getting phone calls to help people to, to enhance their life, to do something different, to learn resources. We just want to be that community resource where we say we can do more. And community, we still believe in our old school. It does take a village to raise a child. And the village just has to be more willing to help more.
I want to put a phone number on the screen as we continue our conversation with Doreen Dunn Burtz. That's 216-916-9410. At the bottom of the screen, you see it. Or you can go to lifeobstacles.org. More information on everything we're talking about. You brought with you your book, Life Obstacles, Feedback, Volume 1. What's it about?
It's actually from the group. It's actually real stories, real people with problems and solutions. And what it is that they're allowed to talk and vent about whatever they want. We believe in this group that we have a healing, that if people get out verbally what they need to express and receive help on it, they could do more. So they're allowed to say it verbally, or they're allowed to just write it in a box, and our facilitator, Mr. Washington, he will read from the question, and everybody talks and, add in and give each other information, directions, because in life, everything we've been through, somebody's been there before.
And you kind of come up with scenarios where that people perhaps can see if they fit in this scenario.
That's right.
One. Do you feel there should be a law where grandparents have rights to see their grandchildren?
Correct.
And you have an answer for that. You have some thoughts
feedback.
on that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And why do women date married men?
Right. That was a topic that somebody brought up.
That was a topic, and you give several answers as to why.
Right.
Now,
feedback.
what does this do? Is this kind of a we see a person standing on the book there. We see a person standing at looks like a highway intersection with arrows pointing every which way.
Right.
Is that what this is about?
That's what it's about.
We feel this way sometimes.
All the time. The main thing is to say that in life you're going to go through something. You're going to have some type of obstacles. You're going to have challenges. The whole thing is, what's the solution to them that gives you a better outcome?
When I was a kid growing up and I had a problem, just a little bit of problem.
That's right.
Maybe doing long division in elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
My folks would say, well, they're going to see a lot more problems bigger than that.
That's
before
right.
It's over with.
That's true.
So we all will face problems.
We all will face problems.
Well, what approach? Well, what's your bottom line on fixing some of these problems or finding the answers? Where do we turn to find the answers?
Well, I think when we work with each other and we communicate with each other, we help each other solve those problems. I mean, if somebody's been through something and somebody can share with them their story, I think sometimes hearing somebody's story help you heal. So I've already been down that path, and I'm communicating with you, and I'm telling you, well, I did this, but it'll be better if you just tried these because I did these steps. I think when you help each other, you do more. You become more productive. And then we want to also just help our communities just live better, healthier lives by not, having those obstacles in your way. There's somebody you can turn to. It's never an ending story. You have life. You can keep going forward.
Somebody out there right now is thinking about the problems that they are dealing with right now.
Correct.
As they watch you on the broadcast
That's right.
now. What do you tell them? How can they get in touch with you easily or certainly get in the pipeline for answers?
Right. Well, I tell people the best thing is to just call our number. Our number is open 24/7. Answer our calls in case somebody late night just want to vent, talk, and we try to talk to them, give them resources, because we know in life there is an answer to every problem. You just got to be willing to open your mind and say, this is what it takes to make me better.
You used the word vent just a little bit ago. Sometimes we just need to vent.
We just need to vent. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to rather than just keep taking those hits. Open your mouth. Speak to somebody. Let them know you're going through something so you can get some help.
And usually somebody else is going through the same thing or is going through it.
Somebody's just, you're never alone on any problem. Somebody's going through it just like you.
The name of the book, written by Doreen Dunn Burtz, who's founder of Informing Our Children Incorporated and who works with the organization Life Obstacles. Where can we find the book?
Well, I think the easiest site everybody knows is Amazon.com. You can go to Amazon.com and type in my name, or you can type Life Obstacles, and it'll actually pop up.
And we'll make sure your name is on the screen. That's Doreen Dunn Burtz, who's the author, along with James R. Washington, who's the facilitator.
Correct. He's I'm lead facilitator.
He's one of the people who help people and give their answers on there.
Formulate. He formulates. He facilitates. James Washington. He facilitates the whole entire group to make sure everybody stay on task and that your question is getting answered and you're not getting thrown off. Because sometimes people change the subject, and he tries to keep everybody focused that they need an answer.
Okay. Many thanks, Doreen Dunn Burtz, founder of Informing Our Children and co-author of Life Obstacles. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You've answered a lot of questions for me.
Excellent.
I appreciate that, too. I'll take a break right now. This is Kaleidoscope. In a moment, we will return with more of this broadcast. We'll hear from the author, Diane Bonner. But first, these words. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. I'm Leon Bibb. Always glad to have you with us. Diane Bonner is here. She's the author of the book, Shh, Go Away, Child. This is grown folks' business. That's quite a title, Diane. She joins me today to talk about her book and her poetry and her manual for raising children. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's quite a title. Shh, go on, child. This is grown folks' business. What's that mean?
That means that we have kept a lot of secrets within ourselves. There were certain topics that we did not want to talk about with our children. So we would just tell them, shh, go on, child. That's grown folks' business.
Well, a lot of us have heard that, I would imagine. I can remember being in the dining room, and my aunts and uncles would be there along with my parents, and my mother would turn to me and say, why don't you go outside and play? I said, well, I'm okay. No, go outside and play.
Right.
And they kind of say, go out and play. That's what that was about. They wanted to talk about some things they didn't want the children to hear.
That's correct.
So how should we respond to that? What are you saying when we hear this? Should we talk to the children?
There are some things that we should share with them. There are, for instance, with the poems. The poems are to allow everyone to open up and talk about the things that's going on in the world. I have 9/11 poems. To this day, when tragic things happen, do we have a plan where we're going to meet? We haven't even discussed that because everybody wanted to keep that shh. Nobody wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. And you use poetry and essays to get your point across.
That's correct.
Give me one of your favorite subjects that you think we need to get across, things that we need to be talking about.
I have a poem in here called Black on Black Crime. And I think that's something that we need to talk about, and that's something taboo within our communities that we don't want to talk about. And so I have a poem discussing what happened to me with black on black crime, with break-ins at my home. But then in that poem, I educate you, or educate the people to show what we went through, what sacrifices were made. And if the young people would know and understand that today, they might be a little better off.
Is this a manual for helping raise the children?
The manual for helping the children is also in here. I got together a bunch of mommies and a couple of daddies, and I asked, what would you wanted to know on how to raise children? If somebody could have told you something, what would you have wanted to know? One young man said, if somebody could have told me to just enjoy the baby times. He said, because all the time I kept saying, well, hurry up, I'm tired of changing diapers. I want to play ball with them. And so that was one of the things I put in there. Enjoy the baby time.
Photographer I used to work with for many, many years here at Channel 5, Jimmy Lentz. He's now retired, but Jimmy used to say when they're young, they're heavy on your knee, and when they get older, they may be heavy on your heart. That happens,
Right.
but that's all part of it.
Right.
And we have to go through that. But in the end, if we've done the right things, the children will be okay.
That's correct.
So what are you telling the community? How can we take this manual and your thoughts, how can we take all of this and better our community? If there's one thing you would say we've got to do, what would that be?
We got to sit down and talk. We got to discuss everything that's going on. You can't keep it a secret. You can't pretend that it does not happen. You cannot whitewash it. You have to talk about it and be open with all the communities, the churches, the police officers, the teachers. Everyone has to sit down and talk about getting the communities together.
We are dealing with a lot of problems inside Northeast Ohio right now. We are seeing, last count as of a couple of days ago, 113 homicides in the city of Cleveland.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What do we do to fix that, in your estimation? What do you think we ought to do?
I think we ought to all get together. The churches ought to come together. The police officers ought to come together. The media ought to come together. Everyone needs to come together and talk and discuss. Don't be afraid of the topics.
Is it harder to raise a child these days?
Oh, it's much harder, but in my book, I talk about the old ways that we used to raise a child.
And how was that?
Okay, the old ways was that we sat down, sometimes we sat down and we talked to them. We tried to train them. We didn't holler and scream at them or beat them half to death.
I want to hold up a picture. Maybe Don can get us a shot of this on camera number 7. What are you saying when you put a photograph like this in this book? What is this about? Who are these folks?
Those are grandparents, my grandparents and my family. And I said, grandparents are grand, the best second set of parents one can have. They are not to be discarded and thrown away because they are old. They have the best story and wisdoms to give that's ever been told. So if you are blessed to have your grandparents around, visit them often and let them tell the same stories, because soon and very soon they will be heaven bound. So with that story, I'm trying to tell you, enjoy your grandparents.
And enjoy family.
Enjoy family.
And as we sit around the Thanksgiving Day table or the Christmas table or any time we get together,
right,
cherish each other and realize this is the bloodline, this is family,
That's
and there's
correct.
a lot of wisdom here.
A lot of wisdom to be shared. Even the children have wisdom.
Where can we find the book, Diane Bonner?
The best place is BarnesandNoble.com.
And that's the best place to find it, Barnes
Online.
and Noble. Name of the book is Shh, Go On Child. This is grown folks' business.
That's correct.
I can hear my mother's voice right now.
Right.
Shh, go away, go on, child. This is grown folks' business. Written by Diane Bonner. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. Many thanks, Diane.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It is my pleasure to have you on the broadcast. We feel better already. We won't tell you go away, audience. I want you to stick with me, but I'll be right back. We're going to talk about some things in the community after this. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. I'm glad to have you with me today, as always. Cordell Stokes is here, business advisor for the Minority Business Assistance Center at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. And so is Glenn Shoemate. He's vice president of education and public affairs for Construction Employers Association. They're here today to talk about the Work Now Construction Initiative. And good to have you with us. Glenn Shoemate on the left and Cordell Stokes on the right. Let's begin with you, Cordell. Tell me about the Work Now Construction Initiative and what the Urban League is doing.
Sure. First of all, good morning, Leon.
Good to have you with us.
As you know, historically on this show, we have spoken about the recruitment, preparation of workforce talent for the Community Benefits Agreement Initiative, which is Mayor Jackson's overall workforce initiative to try and drive more minorities into both the procurement process as a business owner, as well as within the workforce component, having minorities and women. Today, it's a pleasure to be able to announce, as you know, Marsha Maccabee, our president and CEO, always strives to come up with new creative measures to be able to help our most vulnerable of citizens. Today, Glenn Shoemate, representing the Construction Employers Association, along with the Urban League, will participate in a targeted workforce initiative called Work Now Construction Initiative in order to target 21 to 28-year-olds in the recruitment, preparation, training, and subsequent immediate employment assistance within the construction industry
To get them in
a career.
Get them in the pipeline, the working pipeline.
Absolutely.
Let's bring Glenn Shoemate into the discussion. He's Vice President for Construction Employees Association. How does that work? First off, how many construction companies do you represent?
We represent 500 union construction companies here in Northeastern Ohio. We bargain, I think, 17 labor contracts, so from carpentry to roofers, tiles, glazers, a number of crafts which we bargain.
The jobs are out there.
Jobs are out there. There are 200,000 construction jobs in Ohio. Average pay is probably $54,000 to $58,000.
So you're working with the Urban League.
With the Urban League.
Now, what does the Urban League need to do to get people under your umbrella? What do they need to do so that you've got employees?
Well, the Urban League has been we've partnered on this initiative for workforce for a year and a half now, actually, and so we're advancing this to be able to further support the Urban League and their work that they do, which we think is very important. Identifying individuals in our community who have an interest in construction. The Urban League puts them through a SOAR program, which prepares them, if you will, soft skill-wise and exposure to in our industry. And we've had success over the last year and a half with them, and want to enhance that success with some additional opportunities to both provide a stipend for the students who are going through the training, as well as to provide follow-up retention assistance once they're placed on the job.
What do people need to do to get in this pipeline with the Urban League so they can get over here and work with the construction industry in Cleveland?
Well, there's a website. It's www.ceacisp.org. There will be a tab there called Work Now. There will be an application profile as well as a application questionnaire, because this is a very competitive process for 21 to 28-year-olds. You must have transportation. That is going to be the key.
For these classes that the Urban League is training?
Yes, because you're talking about a 4-week soft skill training construction acclimation program, and on completion and graduation from the program, you have to be ready to go to work.
And where are these classes being held?
It will be held at the Urban League, the soft skill training program.
At the corner of East 30th Street and Prospect Avenue.
Yes, sir.
In the Midtown area of Cleveland. You are getting them ready. What kind of skills? And I want to get all of this in. We've got running out of time. What kind of skills are you training them with so they can work in construction?
Well, I think if you talk to any employer, but in particular because of this initiative, the contracting community, they want people who are work ready, who have the basic soft skill components, timeliness, ready to go to work, know how to abide by instructions, know how to be coachable, loyal, ready to develop a career. This is not something for it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, just like all of us.
This is for a long time. This is for a career.
Absolutely.
And you will teach them to do what once they get out of the classes? What do you teach them to do?
So our employers actually will, our union crafts companies, union craftsmen, and they actually will go through a apprenticeship training program, which varies from 3 to 4 years. They essentially will learn on the job and be paid. So the pay may start out at $17, $18 an hour, and after 4 years, they'll be graduate from the apprenticeship program to be a journeyman, a craftsman. At which point they'd be making $25 to $30 an hour with benefits and pension, and it's a great career. But the other part of that apprenticeship is that they're also earning college credit at Tri-C, so they'll graduate with almost an associate's degree without really going into the Tri-C classroom, but by taking their actual courses and their coursework and doing the work out in the field. It's called the other four-year degree is what apprenticeships are.
In our final 10 seconds, you're talking about concrete, bridge building, road work,
Absolutely.
carpentry,
Absolutely.
everything.
All of Cleveland, you know, that's being built and developed over the last several years, and actually the last 100 years that we've been around, along with the, has had a lot of opportunity for our members and contractors and employers who are really just trying to engage the community.
I got a phone number on the screen. I've got a website on the screen. Please write that down if you're interested in this, and that's 398-9860 in the 216 area code. You see the website down there, CEACISP.org, CEACISP.org. Write that number down and send it to whoever you need to send it to. Absolutely. Somebody's looking for work. Absolutely. There's work out there.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got to wrap this up, gentlemen. Always good. We'll have
you
you back to talk more about this.
Great.
It's a deep, deep and important subject. I'm going to be taking a break. Marsha Mockaby of the Urban League joins me in just a moment. The Morning Exchange segment of Kaleidoscope means Marsha Mockaby, the Urban League president. Hey, Marsha.
Hey, Leon, how are you?
Okay, put a cap on it. Where are we going
I'm going to put a cap on it, and a wonderful cap it is. You know, we just heard in the previous segment the announcement of our new construction program that we're going to be launching in partnership with Construction Employers Association. And I'll tell you, I'm just so very pleased about that partnership. You know, in this community, collaboration is in the DNA of the Urban League. But what I found is we can best partner with organizations that we have synergy with and that who have parallel missions. And we found that in Construction Employers Associations. So, you know, they've stepped up to the plate. They've helped us to put components in this program that have been needed since the very beginning and that were a part of the original design from the CBA. And so we think that this is going to make a huge difference in our community and in our ability to help to improve the pipeline of talent with diverse candidates.
And in the event somebody did not get that phone number, they can always call the Urban
They
League, and
certainly
you can get them directed. And the Urban League's number is 622-0999 in the 216 area code. You see that on the screen as well.
Yes.
In our final 30 seconds, this is the difference between working and not working. This is the difference between living and not living.
That is exactly right. I was just at a workforce development board meeting this morning before I came here, and the thing that was talked about is we have this great number of jobs who go unfilled every year and a great number of people who are unemployed. It's the work of the Urban League to change that dynamic and to get people prepared to fill that pipeline.
That's going to do it for us. Take care, everybody.
This has been a presentation of News Channel 5's Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.